If you've been with me since part 1, you already know how this story started. Someone I trusted lied to me for months. I found out the truth in pieces, from strangers, from a bank statement, from a woman who knew my own wedding better than I did. And it ended with him standing at my door, ring in hand, asking me to forget all of it and go back. I said no, but I never told you what happened after that. Today I'm telling you the part of the story that actually matters the most. Not the heartbreak. What I built from it. The hollow days. I want to be honest with you about something. The morning after I said no, I didn't feel triumphant. I didn't feel free. I felt hollow. Saying no to him meant saying no to an entire future I had already built in my head. The wedding, the house, the version of my life where all of this made sense and had a happy ending. I had pictured that life so many times that letting it go felt like losing a person, not just a relationship. For the first few days I barely left my apartment. I'd wake up, stare at the ceiling, and ask myself the same question over and over. Who am I now, if I'm not the woman who was about to marry him? I didn't have an answer. And honestly, that scared me more than the breakup itself. The smallest beginning. Healing didn't start with some big cinematic moment. No dramatic makeover, no plane ticket to somewhere far away. It started with something almost embarrassingly small. One morning about a week after I made my bed. That's it. I made my bed slowly, and I noticed the sheets were soft and the light coming through the window was warm. And for about 10 seconds I felt something other than grief. So the next day I did it again. And I made my coffee slowly instead of rushing through it like I used to when I was racing to check my phone for his name. I stopped reaching for my phone first thing in the morning. I let myself have 10 quiet minutes before the world came in. None of this fixed anything. But it was the first time in a long time I did something just for me, with nobody else's approval attached to it. And that mattered more than I expected it to. Asking the real question. About 3 weeks in, I asked myself a question I realized I hadn't asked in years. Not what does he want? Not what keeps the peace? Just what do I want? It felt like a strange question to ask myself. Almost illegal, somehow like I wasn't allowed. But I sat with it. And slowly answers started coming. I wanted softness again, but softness I chose, not softness that got taken advantage of. I wanted a home that felt like sanctuary instead of a waiting room for someone else's approval. I wanted to open my banking app without my stomach dropping. I wanted my mornings back. I wanted friendships where I didn't have to explain or defend who I was. Nobody was going to hand me any of that. I had to build it piece by piece. Rebuilding the money. Let's talk about the bank account since some of you have asked. That moment in part 4, finding out what he'd actually done with our money, was one of the most disorienting parts of this whole story. It wasn't just betrayal. It was realizing I hadn't been looking at my own life clearly for a long time. So the rebuild started there too. I sat down with a notebook, no distractions, and looked at everything. What I had, what I owed, what I needed. It wasn't glamorous. There were nights I cried over spreadsheets, but every number I understood was a number nobody could hide from me again. I started small. I automated a little bit of savings every week, even when it was barely anything. I learned what quiet luxury actually means, not spending more but choosing better. Choosing things that actually reflected the life I wanted instead of the life I was performing. Watching that account grow, even slowly, felt like watching myself come back online. Part 5, rebuilding the space, rebuilding the people. I also looked at my home differently. It had become his space as much as mine. His things, his preferences, decisions made around what he liked. So I changed it. Slowly and mostly on a budget. New linens. Warmer lighting. I moved the furniture so the room felt like it belonged to a woman building a life, not a woman waiting for one. And I looked at my people too. Some of my friendships survived that season with me. Some didn't. And I want to be honest, that hurt almost as much as the relationship ending, because it meant facing how much of my world had quietly shifted to orbit around him without me noticing. But the friends who stayed, who let me be a mess and didn't rush my healing, they became part of the foundation too. I leaned on them. I let myself be helped, which was harder than it sounds for someone who'd spent so long being the one who held everything together for someone else. The moment of doubt. I won't pretend it was a straight line. There were nights I almost called him. There was one night about 2 months in, where I sat with my phone in my hand for almost an hour. His name pulled up, thumb hovering over the call button. I didn't call, but I want you to know that moment happened because I think it's important. Healing isn't a straight upward line where you feel a little better every single day. Some days you feel like you're right back at the door, ring in hand, being asked to forget everything. What got me through that night wasn't willpower. It was remembering the bank account, remembering the friend who told me the truth, remembering how small I had gotten, and how much bigger I already felt even 2 months in. Becoming her. Somewhere in the middle of all these small, unglamorous choices, the bed, the coffee, the spreadsheet, the new linens, the friend I called instead of him, I noticed something. I liked who I was becoming. She was calmer, more discerning. She knew her own worth wasn't up for negotiation anymore. She understood, finally, that softness was never the problem in this story. Losing herself was the problem, and she wasn't going to let that happen again. Not because she'd hardened, but because she finally knew her own value well enough to protect it. The ending and the beginning. He stood at my door with a ring, offering to undo everything. But he never understood, and honestly I don't think he was capable of understanding that I didn't want it undone. I wanted it transformed. The woman who found out the truth in pieces, who cried over bank statements, who sat on her floor with her phone in her hand at midnight. She isn't gone. She's just underneath the woman I am now, the one who built something out of all of it. I didn't need him to make me whole. I needed to walk away from him to find out I already was. This is what her soft empire actually means to me. It was never really about the aesthetic, even though I love the aesthetic. It's about becoming the kind of woman who moves through her life with softness and strength at the same time, who chooses peace on purpose, who builds wealth and beauty and self-respect from the inside out, one quiet decision at a time. If this story meant something to you, if you've ever had to walk away from a future you'd already imagined to find your way back to yourself, I'd love for you to stay. Subscribe and let's keep building this together. This is Her Soft Empire. And it's just getting started. New episodes every year upload day. Watch the full series parts 1 through 6, link in description.